How should I start this? So in the motion design community, we have a lot of different sorts of styles, but when does a style become overly saturated and just not very fun to watch anymore? So there was an article on Lilo and Stitch. This article is also really good. It's super in-depth. It reminded me of like the golden years, which is Lilo and Stitch, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Treasure Island. My god, those are amazing films. At the end of this article, there is actually a quote from Ric Sluiter, art director. I think I'm butchering his name. And he said this. Here, he basically said, I actually have a hard time watching animation now because I see the same expressions, gestures, hand movements, and everything. Basically, what he's saying is that they keep looking at animation as a reference, and so everything feels copied and feels the same overall. So this reminded me of something, which is a video from way back all about corporate styles. Why do corporate art styles feel fake? And I'm gonna play a little clip here.
No alegría, you'll start recognizing its brothers, sisters, and cousins all around the internet, and occasionally outside of it.
He was talking about how Buck created this design system for Facebook. How it was like generic, overly big limbs, and kind of a skin tone that makes no sense, so that way it is universally relatable to everyone. I remember watching this video way back and I was like, oh fuck, he's right. Like, this entire video is really well done and in-depth. But it isn't Buck's fault. It was a really good design system, and in fact it was very fantastic. It was super successful. The clients saw what was successful and decided to copy it. They wanted the same result as what happened with Facebook. Here are a few examples where this is T-Mobile. Here's Airbnb. Doing the same sort of thing as well. I'm also guilty of this. I'm not like excluded from this. This is work that I did for a previous agency, and you can tell that, you know, the style is basically the same. It was like overly large limbs, very simplistic sort of design, pretty much basically an extent of that style. It wasn't that Buck was the first one to do it. It's just that when they did do it, everyone else wanted the same thing because it was so successful that people wanted to replicate what the success that they had. Here's another example, which is really funny because I lived through it, and if you're watching this, you probably lived through it as well. Tendril made this really nice video for Microsoft, and it was about the rebrand of their icons, and it was so slick, so nice. Like, I was at an awe when I was watching this. It was insane. Look at that, how it was like the details and everything. And it was kind of transformed the way you kind of show graphic design in the tech industry. Not that this hasn't been done before, like it has done many times before, but it was so successful that holy shit, it was so saturated. Everyone started doing it. Here's another one from Oppo. Not that Oppo has not done this before, because it was so successful. There's so many in the industry all of a sudden. It just keeps going. There are just so many sort of, look at that! Come on! All of a sudden there's this massive boom, and my Vimeo is just overly saturated with all of these tech videos doing the same UI sort of thing. There are even tutorials, as you can see here. There's a tutorial on how to make the Microsoft Office ad style. Here's another one for Windows 11 sort of style, and here's another tutorial which is done in Blender of the same style, the Microsoft style. Not that it was bad. It wasn't bad. It was really good. The style was amazing and stuff. It's just for like a year or something, everyone started doing it, and it became overly saturated, and then all of a sudden it doesn't feel very fun anymore. It's like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again, and you kind of get tired of it. So the reason why this sort of thing happens is because the industry kind of looks into itself and kind of sees what is successful, because obviously they want to see what other people are doing and what has worked before and what hasn't. When they see something that's super successful, a lot of people will see it and they'll try doing the same thing, and all of a sudden there's this massive boom. And there's this like inherent sort of thing where we always look at each other, like Disneyifying all your faces and stuff, because all of Disney's characters feel somewhat the same. How do we fix that? How do we kind of break from the norm, stop copying from other people, from our peers, and how do we sort of, man, I'm not very well spoken today, am I? I'm so tired. So the solution to this is really looking outside the media. So instead of looking into animation, into motion design, and looking at the industry, you look outwards at other mediums. There's a reason why Spider-Verse looks really damn good, and it's because they were looking at different art styles, looking at digital prints, looking at comics. The reason why it looks so good is because it stopped looking inward and started looking outward. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looks so damn good is because they started looking at the medium of like scribbles and drawings, started created this unique look that is reminiscent of that, which also, because they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kind of fits the bill. Not saying that I'm successful in this. The reason why I feel like this work of mine is so good and so successful, I shouldn't say that, because I was looking at game graphics and pixel art, and I was trying to incorporate it into this project that I was trying to do. And that's why I thought it's kind of breaking apart from the whole motion design aspect. So yeah, what I really want to say is look outward, don't look inward. Like, I stopped using Vimeo now because it's overly saturated with so many of my peers' work, and I just want to look at something more unique. Sculptures or paintings or like a bunch of other mediums. Stop motion. There's a lot of really cool stop motion out there. Yeah, so that's basically. But when does an overly saturated style become a genre?